New this morning, President Trump is now urging for more law enforcement to be deployed to the streets of Los Angeles. In a post on Truth Social, he spoke directly to Los Angeles Police Department Chief Jim McDonnell, encouraging him to bring in the troops. Now, this comes after Chief McDonnell shared his thoughts on the National Guard presence.
I believe that we would have gone through a number of steps before we'd have deployed the National Guard or requested deployment of the National Guard, but we have great cops in Southern California here that work together all the time. So we have tremendous capability here. To say that we would go to that right away, I'd say we wouldn't have been there yet.
Well, Chief McDonnell says there has been discussion of implementing a curfew as he showed video footage from the past few days saying people must be held accountable for their actions. Now, Governor Newsom is furious. He says he called President Trump on Friday about the immigration raid protests in Los Angeles. The 40-minute call took place after the wide-scale immigration enforcement began in Los Angeles on Friday. Governor Newsom said that the president's actions are sowing chaos so the federal government can have an excuse to escalate. He also said the state has the resources necessary to bring the protests under control and does not need the National Guard. Well, the White House criticized the state's Democratic leaders and accused them of failing to take responsibility to protect their citizens. In a post to X last night, Governor Newsom, quote, said, President Trump is escalating the situation by threatening to deploy roughly 500 active duty Marines to the streets of Los Angeles. The governor's office also sent a formal letter to the Trump administration asking them to rescind their deployment of troops to Los Angeles. Lieutenant Governor Eleni Kounalakis is now saying that the state is preparing to file a lawsuit today against the Trump administration.
It's deeply concerning that he is attempting to rile people up in this way. And the governor, I think you reported already, has asked him to return control of the National Guard back to him. And I believe that we are likely going to see a lawsuit. He did not have the authority to call in the National Guard for 400 people protesting in a way that local law enforcement could clearly handle it.
Now, according to the Los Angeles Times, the federal lawsuit will be filed over the deployment of the National Guard. The lieutenant governor stressed that burning cars and other non-peaceful protests were not appropriate, but that local law enforcement has the situation under control. Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass is also upset about the federal troops.
It is most important that everybody be allowed to exercise their First Amendment right, but it absolutely has to be done peacefully.
Bass said that the city does not need to be under siege by federal troops and says much of the chaos has been provoked by the Trump administration. President Trump deployed the National Guard following protests that started Friday over immigration enforcement activity. Former Vice President Kamala Harris is now also speaking out about the ongoing protests in Los Angeles. In a statement posted to X last night, Harris voiced opposition to the president's decision to deploy National Guard troops, calling the move a calculated agenda to spread panic and division. The former vice president went on to call protests a powerful tool in the fight for justice, voicing support for those who are out on the streets. Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum is also criticizing the federal immigration raids across Los Angeles. During a press conference, Sheinbaum said that Los Angeles would not be what it is without the Mexican men and women who live there. She also says that they migrate out of necessity and from there send resources to their families, adding that they are not criminals. She says Mexican men and women will always have Mexico's support and that the country will always welcome them with open arms. New polling shows most Americans support President Trump's deportations of immigrants who are in the U.S. legally. However, more people say they do not like this approach. A new CBS News YouGov survey found that 55% of those who responded said they liked the president's deportation program, but 56% said they do not approve of how he is going about it. 63% said the Trump administration should let people have a court hearing or go through the legal process before deporting someone who is not a U.S. citizen. Only 32% said the immigration policies are making the country stronger. Today at noon, there will be a gathering in Fresno for a Stop the Deportations demonstration. Organizers are calling it an emergency rally and protest, joining thousands of others protesting in Los Angeles right now. The protest will be held at the Robert E. Coyle Federal Building in Fresno on Tulare and P Street.
Hi, I'm Monty Torres with Fox 26 News on YouTube. Thank you for checking out our YouTube channel, where we have loads of great content for you to choose from. And while you're here, why not click on the subscribe button right here? That way you can stay in touch with all the latest breaking news, everything news related within the Central Valley. And thank you for watching.